Mud. Real mud. Thick, cold, sticking to boots on a military drill ground. And standing right in the middle of it. A royal. Not in silk, not in diamonds, but in camouflage. Face streaked with dirt, gripping a service rifle like it actually matters. That royal is Lady Louise Windsor. Let's talk about what really happened, because this is not the kind of royal story people expect. On this particular occasion, witnesses at the training field didn't see a princess in waiting. They saw a cadet, someone taking orders, someone getting shouted at, someone failing drills and trying again. And that image alone raised a serious question inside palace walls. Why is one of the Queen's granddaughters choosing this path? Now, today, we are diving into a story that insiders quietly describe as a reset button for the monarchy. Not loud, not dramatic, but powerful in a way that's harder to ignore. Accounts from journalists and society insiders reveal that Louise is not just participating in training. She is following a path that hasn't been walked by a royal woman since Queen Elizabeth II in 1945. That's an 80-year gap. And in a time when the royal family is dealing with scandals, exits, and public trust issues, this doesn't look like coincidence. It looks like strategy. But here's the part many people don't know. Louise didn't suddenly become this disciplined, grounded figure. This story didn't start on a drill field. It started in a hospital room. She was born in 2003. Early, fragile, complicated. Doctors rushed. Her mother faced a life-threatening emergency. It was one of those moments where outcomes are not guaranteed. And then came another challenge. A severe eye condition, esotropia. A visible squint that meant surgeries, years of treatment, and quiet public scrutiny. Now think about that for a second. A child growing up inside the most watched family in the world, while dealing with something so visible. Many would hide. She didn't. What many people don't know is that those early struggles shaped everything. Her calm personality today? Not accidental. Her empathy toward charity work? Not random. It came from experience. But here's where the story takes a turn. Because legally, Louise wasn't just any child. She was born a princess. Under rules set by King George V, she had the full right to be called Her Royal Highness. And yet, she wasn't. Her parents made a decision that shocked insiders at the time. They chose not to use the title. Instead, she grew up simply as Lady Louise. No spotlight, no pressure, no constant headlines. For 18 years, she lived like that. Almost invisible. And then came the moment that changed everything. Her 18th birthday. Because at that exact moment, she had a choice. Become Princess Louise, or stay exactly who she was. And the world watched. Because at that same time, the monarchy was already under pressure. Members leaving, scandals unfolding, public opinion shifting. Many expected her to step up, take the title, strengthen the brand. Instead, she went to work. Literally. Customers at a local garden center couldn't believe what they were seeing. A young woman, quietly working, lifting heavy pots, cleaning tools, serving customers, minimum wage, around sixthers, $83 an hour. No cameras, no announcements, and only later. People realized who she was. The granddaughter of the Queen, standing at the till, bagging compost. But there's more to this story. Because that decision wasn't just about staying grounded. It was building something much bigger. Royal insiders remember a time when expectations for young royals were simple, appear, smile, represent. But Louise didn't follow that pattern. Unlike many in her generation, she didn't build a public image. She built a private discipline. And it showed early. Those years working at the garden center weren't a publicity stunt. There were no press releases, no official coverage, just real work. Customers later described the moment of realization. Wait, isn't she? And then the shock. Because there's something different when a royal chooses effort over comfort. It changes perception, slowly, quietly. At the same time, Louise was developing another skill, carriage driving. Not a trendy hobby, not something flashy, something deeply traditional, something connected directly to Prince Philip. He didn't just introduce her to it. He trained her, strictly. Insiders say he saw something in her early, a kind of focus, a patience that's rare. And that training wasn't easy. Handling multiple horses requires strength, awareness, and control. It's not symbolic, it's physical. And when Philip passed away in 2021, something significant happened. He left his carriage and his ponies to Louise, not to a senior, royal, not to a public figure, to her. That was a message. Then came the Platinum Jubilee. Crowds, cameras, global attention, and there she was, driving that same carriage, steady, focused, silent. People watching didn't just see tradition, they saw continuity, a bridge between generations. And inside the palace, that moment mattered more than most realized, because while others were dealing with headlines, controversy, and exits, Louise stayed consistent. No interviews, no statements, just presence. And then came University. University of St. Andrews, a place known for producing not just graduates, but future leaders. She chose English literature, not politics, not media, not something designed for visibility, something thoughtful, quiet, something that actually connects to history and culture, which, interestingly, aligns closely with the interests of King Charles III, and that connection became important. Because while the monarchy was shrinking, losing active members, Charles needed stability. He needed someone reliable. And many are questioning how that role quietly shifted toward Louise. On this particular occasion, the issue wasn't public, it was internal. The monarchy was facing what insiders described as a personnel crisis. Too few working royals, too many responsibilities, and not enough trusted figures. That's when conversations began. Private, careful, strategic, between Charles and Louise. But here's what made it different. He didn't command her. He asked. According to insiders, the king offered her the choice. Take the title, step into a formal role, help stabilize the institution, or stay independent. No pressure. That's not how monarchy usually works. But this wasn't a usual moment. Because the system needed people who actually believed in it, not just inherited it. At the same time, Louise made another decision. She joined the University Officers Training Corps. Military training. Real training. Not ceremonial. Not symbolic. Mud, discipline, physical exhaustion. And suddenly, everything connected. Her grandmother's wartime service. Her grandfather's. Discipline. Her own grounded upbringing. It all led here. Witnesses describe her on the training ground. No special treatment. No shortcuts. Same drills. Same expectations. And that's where something shifted. Because this wasn't about image anymore. This was about credibility. And then came the realization inside the palace. Louise wasn't filling a gap. She was redefining the role. But the full truth was still to come. Accounts from journalists. And insiders reveal something important. Louise is not trying to be a traditional royal. And she's not rejecting it either. She's rebuilding it. Think about the pattern. A royal who worked a minimum wage job, avoided using a princess title, chose discipline over visibility, trained in the military. That combination doesn't happen by accident. It creates something new. A different kind of authority, not based on title, but on action. Public reaction has been subtle, but strong. People don't talk about her constantly, but when they do, it's different. There's respect. Because authenticity is hard to fake. Inside the monarchy, her role is becoming clearer. Not loud, not central, but essential. A bridge between generations. a stabilizer during uncertainty, a figure who doesn't need attention to have influence. And here's the part that changes everything. Her title? It no longer matters, because she already has something stronger: trust. As she moves forward, possibly toward further military training, maybe even Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, the focus isn't on what she'll be called. It's on what she represents. Monarchy that adapts without losing its core, a royal who earns her place, not demands it. And maybe that's the real story here. Not a scandal, not a headline, but a quiet shift. A different blueprint. These stories provide insight into how power survives, not through noise, but through people who choose duty, when no one is forcing them to. And in that silence, Lady Louise Windsor may have already secured her place in the future of the crown.